Hey, this is John Spencer Ellis of the Online Expert Empire. And if you want to build your network and if you want to take control of your life, check out Boss to Boss with my good friend, Miro.
Do you want to start a business, get out of the office, achieve happiness and success while crushing life? This is Boss to Boss, the place to be for that extra motivation to get up and follow your dreams while learning from the ones who have already done it. And now for your host, Miro.
What is up? How you doing? How you feeling? Welcome to your one-stop shop for all the tips and recipes you'll ever need to take control of your life and finally become boss. This is Miro and you're on Boss to Boss Podcast, episode 14. How's it going, everybody? It's a beautiful week. I don't know where you're at, what part of the world, the country. If you're here in Chicago, the weather's finally took a turn, and it's just finally nice out. I mean, so much for spring. I think we had about a couple days worth of spring and straight into summer. This 90 degrees, I can get used to it. Though I'm not gonna lie, being in the industry I am now with Hodgepodge, which is on-demand storage, junk removal, moving, it's kind of rough, especially for my guys, for my crew. I had to do a few jobs myself as we've just been so swamped lately. I'm not gonna lie, this weather is rough, so I can't imagine doing this kind of work, let's say like Florida or Louisiana or some kind of state down there all year round. That's props to anybody that's in the labor industry. I give so much props, especially working outdoors. The contractors, the laborers, anything, movers, whatever it is, going up and down stairs. So much props. I mean, not an easy thing to do. And if anything, you should get paid more. That's for sure. I feel that some of these roles should be flip-flopped compared to some of us that just been, sitting in offices all day and having, nice and cool AC and type a few things, answer a few calls. I mean that's what I used to do. And it wasn't that bad. The work I do now, the days I actually have to get up and do physical things, it's much harder. But at the same time, it's much more liberating. There's nothing like just doing mundane tasks on the computer all day and answering mundane phone calls. And it's just that wasn't life. Anyways, so this past week, a lot's been going on. I got a couple things I want to get into. I've had my first major confrontation at work, and 5 jobs one day, no problem. Add a 6th, that is a problem. So, my main guy at work, we sort of got into a little confrontation. It was a long day. I mean, he, the crew, I was working, all of us were working, long hours. This was Friday, coming up to Memorial Weekend. And he just got frustrated because he had no time for lunch and pretty much, had to go from like 3 jobs straight without really a break. At the same time, he didn't start on time, and a customer took advantage of us by having us for a couple extra hours, which kind of messed up our whole schedule going forward. And I'm not saying that it was that he didn't maybe start on time. He could have started half an hour earlier, or that he didn't. That's not the whole point. The whole point is just that there was a confrontation, and from my end, it's something that I got to get used to. I'm not used to people, my team kind of arguing with me or going back and forth. This is totally new to me. I wasn't ever the arguer myself, I guess, even when I worked at the public accounting firm I was at or any other jobs. I brought things up, though I didn't ever get frustrated and take it out on someone. So, it was something, it was new. It was a new learning experience. I stayed calm. I calmed the teammate down, and then we had to talk about it the following day. Went over how things like that are unacceptable. Can't do that around here. It's not going to be tolerated. And no, everything turned out good. I would say the thing I learned from that part, I mean, one, yeah, it kind of shocked me, but at the same time it didn't, because things like this will happen. So it was a matter of time before I had a confrontation like this. And two, it's all about staying calm. I don't know if it's just the yoga I've been doing lately, which Joanna's been getting me into, or trying to, though we've been slacking lately. Not gonna lie. Maybe it's that, or it's just my personality. I try not to overreact as much as I could, before coming to conclusions. So that part really helped, because I was able to kind of think about it, go over the implications. If I started screaming back at the employee, at the teammate, that wouldn't have ended well at all for anybody. At moments like that, you really got to think about it and figure out what's going to be the best route. And I know for sure, that's what I did, and everything worked out. He's happy, I'm happy. Everything's good. We're moving on. We're past it. Next thing, yes. So we got the 5 jobs one day, 6 jobs. Forget about it. We technically had 6 jobs lined up on Friday. I had to push one of them back. I mean, it was crazy. I had my whole crew working. I was working. We ended up getting through 5. Unfortunately, we had to push the 6th one back to the following day, which we still got to it, so it all worked out. But it was a crazy day. I mean, we were just going back and forth, nonstop from like morning to night. It was, so I mean, we're definitely putting all our trucks into use now. And it's just like, all of a sudden, everybody wants something done. Everybody, is either spring cleaning or moving, whatever it is. Their leases are up. And it kind of all hit us at once. So that kind of, were we prepared? Yeah, yes and no. I don't think you could ever be prepared for so many jobs when you're used to doing like 1 to 2 to 3. And all of a sudden you get hit with 6, 5 of which you actually do in one day. So it was a great learning, learning time for us, that's for sure. For me with my scheduling and all that. So I definitely learned that I need to space jobs out a little more. I can't just do like a half hour in between and just hope that everything goes perfect, because it almost never does. It's just the nature of any type of service work. You got to schedule a buffer time, I guess. Buffer for breaks, buffer for transport, buffer for lunch, buffer for talking with the customer, whatever it is. These things definitely need to be planned out more and better, especially with scheduling purposes. So it's something that I just have to plan better, more accordingly going forward. That's for sure. So it's gonna be a rough end of the month. I already know that, as we have so many jobs lined up back to back to back. We're definitely gonna be at capacity using all our team, all our trucks. That's for sure. So it's gonna be an exciting time. Hopefully, I make it. If you hear from me on this podcast next week, that's how you'll know that I made it and I survived. Survived this. It's gonna be a hell week. I know it is, but I'm excited because it's a challenge, and every day I kind of like, I don't know, inside I get that feeling, that stomach feeling, like it's I'm doing new things. I'm challenging myself. That's for sure, and you know what? That's good because I'm growing, and I know my team's growing, and I know they're challenged as well. Definitely keeping things interesting. Which leads to some of the mistakes of the week, which are not hiring enough. If I had to go back, I probably not go back, but I probably would have had an extra teammate or two, employee, contractor lined up for some of these days. It's definitely a lot harder to find people than I thought. It's not that easy, especially in the labor, contractor type industry. Finding good, reliable people is really hard. It really is. I mean, I've been looking for weeks. It took me a while to find one of my, first guys that was really running things now, that kind of took over some of these roles that I was doing. So that part isn't easy, because it would have definitely made things easier for right now when, we're just getting swamped and things really are starting to pick up. You can't just, pick anybody off the streets and bring them on board. It's not that easy. You got to find someone that's reliable. We have a bunch of supplies. We have trucks. We have trucks. These trucks are not like little trucks. There's got to be responsibility. We have a bunch of stuff we repurpose and resell. So there's also like, a theft aspect. So it's not so easy, to find the right people. So I definitely should have focused more on it, and I'm putting a lot of time towards it now. I've been interviewing some people, but just to like find the people to interview is a whole nother, aspect to it. That's hard in itself. And I guess I would say this whole thing leads to, personally for me, it's letting go. That's kind of another mistake. I always want to be there in the action. I always want to see everything. I mean, who doesn't, right? Who doesn't love being in the action? That's the whole point, right? Knowing what's going on, especially if it's like your own thing, your own company. You definitely want to be there for all of it, and you want to see it. Wrong. I'm learning that. I'm learning that the hard way, and it affected me because, like, let's just say I was at one of my close friends' bachelor parties like 2 months ago. And it was like the first time that we were, going to have a bunch of jobs when I wasn't there for a couple days. And it was so hard for me to let go. I was constantly just like sitting around my phone, on my phone, checking in, making sure everything's going right. It was so hard. I had to get through it, and I guess that was my way of getting through it. At the end of the day, I would tell myself, be more calm and just sort of let go and trust that you have the right team in place to get the job done, and that they know what they're doing. And that is the case. It took that, but I'm now at the point where I do trust my team, and I do, I am here. Mistakes will happen. They will. And I'll be here for emergency purposes, though the company is not going to grow to another level if I'm constantly there at all times, getting my hands dirty and doing the work, as I need to be focusing on other things. I need to be bringing in the business. I need to be growing the company. Otherwise, these guys, this amazing team I have already built up, there isn't going to be enough work for them if I'm not doing that aspect. If I'm constantly worrying about the, little day-to-day things that are going on. So, definitely that's something that has really, really hit me, and I'm definitely putting more focus on, the bigger picture things. And it's also making me appreciate other bosses I've worked for, or, other leaders, that they don't do the things that, let's say, I would do working underneath them, as they had to keep paying me. They had to keep paying me. They had to get the work. They had to make the company run. And it just puts, it gives me that much more appreciation for everybody else that is in that, leadership role. As even though you want them to help you, you want them to do everything you're doing and feel the pain, they can't always do that. I can't always be there doing all these moving or hauling or storage jobs. It's just impossible, because otherwise, where will the business come from if, me or somebody else, our salespeople, aren't getting the business? So that's a quick recap of the mistakes and the rants and recaps, everything that's been happening the past week. It's been a lot, and there's just so much more going on. I got to hit the road, unfortunately. I'd love to just sit here and talk to y'all all day. If you love the content, you've been loving the interviews and all the amazing interviews that are coming up. We got Nicholas Bailey, Justina Kedra, we got Ben Oberg, Jeremy Rubin, aka the Friendly Flipper, Laura Peterson, a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. So many amazing guests coming up. I don't want to give away too many. Just a little bit. If you love the content, you want to hear more, just hit us up. Leave us a review on iTunes if you can. We'd appreciate that very much. Screenshot it. send it to us. Send it to info@boss2boss.com or message it to me on to us on Instagram, on Facebook at @thereal_Miro or @boss2boss. And you'll be entered into a raffle for a $100 gift card. As soon as we get a few under our belts, we're going to do that first raffle and that first giveaway. So don't forget, we'd really appreciate any feedback, anything you think we could be doing better. That's what we're here for. Any way we could help you. And stay tuned for our Facebook group, about to officially launch, coming soon. That being said, I hope you enjoyed another episode, and I hope you crush the rest of your week, and we'll be talking again soon. Peace.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit boss2boss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.